Peace. The purpose of this video is to explain white privilege to those of you who seem to have a problem understanding it or deny that it exists. I've heard a lot of people make the argument that, well, I came up, rough, I had to struggle, I didn't benefit from white privilege. What you need to understand is that it goes far beyond economics. I personally came up at about as low as a point as you could get from a socio-economic standpoint in a first world country. And with that being said, I've benefited tremendously from white privilege. Not that I want to, or not that I want it to be that way, but it's really not up to any individual whether they benefit from it or not, and that's what you have to understand. It's not something to be guilty about, that you did something wrong. I think that's why a lot of people deny it. They don't want to feel guilty that they're benefiting from something that's wrong. And the truth be told, is really not your decision whether you benefit from it or not. It's something inherent within the system, within society, that just exists. And you're gonna benefit from it if you're white, regardless. So the key is to not be blind to it, not ignore it, because by doing that, you're not being compassionate towards what so many people are going through in this country and the problems that they face. And in ignoring it and not acknowledging it, you just perpetuate it and things will never change. So, you just have to understand some very simple things. You have a presumption of good standing, of innocence, particularly in the courts and with police, but just in general, and get a benefit of the doubt in this society when you're white. And if you don't realize the unfair treatment that people of color are going through, it's because you don't have to. It's not something that you have to pay attention to. You have the benefit of not having to acknowledge it, whereas those who are going through it don't have that privilege in itself to be able to say that it doesn't exist, because they have to live it every day. So be more compassionate, more understanding of what your fellow men and women are going through, and stop making it all about you. If it's not convenient for you to acknowledge it, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And I'd just like to reiterate that by not acknowledging it, you're becoming part of the problem. Nobody's trying to guilt you about you benefiting from it, because as I explained, it's not up to you whether you benefit from it or not. It is up to you whether you co-sign it or whether you pretend it doesn't exist so that it can continue to exist. So that is your fault if you're playing into it in that way, by either ignoring it or thinking that it's okay. One last point on, if you still are not sold on white privilege and the fact that it exists, I'd like you to consider the fact that the synagogue shooter in Pittsburgh killed numerous people and then shot police as they tried to apprehend him. Somehow they managed to take him alive, when routinely black unarmed people are killed all the time, for little or no reason at all. And there's not so much effort made to take them alive. These are unarmed people who have not done anything. Lots of effort is made to take a mass murderer who shoots at police alive when he's white. Something to think about. Get your head out of your ass. Start caring about your fellow human being, and maybe some of these problems can be overcome eventually. Thanks for listening. Peace.